but all I get is patience, and all I know is I don't know a thing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Springs. I am your host, Ryan Lowry. Thank you so much for tuning in. The song you just heard is the latest from my guest, singer-songwriter and Colorado Springs native Brian Wight. I sat down with Brian on November 22nd at the Black Sheep right here in Colorado Springs. This was the final stop on the tour supporting his latest project entitled I Have No Idea What I'm Doing. This was my first time meeting Brian, and I have to say, a very impressive young man, extremely confident and motivated, definitely has a tremendous work ethic, which is evident in the effort that went into producing and coordinating this tour. So enough of my yammering, sit back and enjoy, because Brian Wight is in the Springs.
Of my life, even if I don't do it right, at least I try. Oh, they say be bigger and better and make a lot of cash, be successful, impressive, and live your life fast. Be cooler, attractive from head to toe, be the best at everything and make sure everybody knows.
Good to me.
Excellent. Dude, I appreciate you taking some time to hang out before the big homecoming show.
Yeah.
And this is the last stop on your tour.
Yes, sir. Kind of unofficially.
Yeah.
I've got a few other out-of-state gigs that aren't like a part of this tour. They're just kind of Christmas show in Arizona and just some random ones. But this is the last like official stop of this I Have No Idea What I'm Doing tour.
Right.
So had to do it in my hometown. So.
Nice. Now, what cities did you hit during this run?
Oh, Lord.
Because I did go online and I saw a couple of the little vignettes for the like up in Seattle and different places, man. So it was very, very, very funny.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Did you have somebody traveling with you to shoot the video?
No, I was by myself.
Yeah.
I think the Seattle one, I just had a filmmaker who was local. I just said like, hey, I've seen what you do. It's pretty artsy. Could you like step down from your seriousness and like do something stupid before my show? I can't pay you very much. I'll buy you Chipotle and get you in for free. and they was cool with it. So we did. And I promised them there wouldn't be too much editing. And, but yeah, so everywhere I went was by myself. It was really, really hard to be honest. But, but to answer your city's question, so it kind of started in April and, let's see, New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Philly, Baltimore, Fredericksburg, Nashville, Knoxville.
So you've got them all memorized, all the cities that.
This isn't
I didn't mean for you to recite.
This isn't even an order. This is just like I'm remembering.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean.
So how many cities? Just
to sum it up,
numbers-wise?
sum it up, I think I did 30 states and like 35 cities.
Since April until. Mm-hmm. And so is this something that you coordinated and produced, or did you work with a booker and a promoter to get things going, or?
Absolutely, by myself. Kind of my mantra and something I'm really proud of is that, I've been wanting to play music forever and just kind of have a career out of it. And I saw all these stories and read all these things about like, and then they got their big break and everything happened for them. And I kept waiting for that. Like, oh, why hasn't anyone noticed me yet? Oh, why hasn't anyone helped me yet? And I had all these like kind of powerful friends and I was like bitter towards them. I was just like, I know this person and they're a jerk because they're not doing this for me. And I kind of like woke up, like New Year's Day of 2014, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just going to break the rules and kind of kick the door down and just, if no one's going to do it for me, I'm just going to do it myself. So I didn't have a manager, don't have a booking agent, don't have a label. I just knew that I had some fans in some parts of the country waiting for me. So many, many hours in a coffee shop just talking to venues saying, hey, my name's Brian. Could I play here? I think people will come. And it was a lot of work. I always tell people when they say, what do you do? And I say, I'm a musician. They say, oh, that's so cool. So you just, ride around and play music all the time. I always tell people with my job, probably 80% of my job is sitting in a room, usually a coffee shop with Wi-Fi, and just emailing and begging. Right. Could I play here? Could I play here? Could I play here? And then the last 15% of my job is just driving. And then 5% of my job is playing music.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was all by myself, and it was so hard. And I'm very, very thankful that, it wasn't total failure.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man. So now, I mean, what do you think you gained by doing it, that DIY? And to be honest, I think one of the things that kind of drew me to you is I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. Because I think most people, myself included, I have no idea what I'm doing either. And so I think people can kind of relate to that sentiment, and certainly from somebody who's doing on the road, kind of into the unknown. And so I really, I admire the, for lack of a better word, the balls for you to go out and do that.
Oh man, amen. Like just you saying that is the idea of the album. Is just, I think I graduated from high school and we couldn't afford to go to college, and so the question.
Now you're an Air Academy guy.
I was.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, and the question was like, what are you going to do when you grow up? I have no idea. And when I decided, okay, I want to be a music artist, and so I had all my music friends say, great, how are you going to do that? I have no idea. I'm not a business guy. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not good with the internet or computers, but I know how to write a song. So I don't know. With that, I have no idea what I'm doing, but with everything else too, tomorrow, 2 years from now, I just have no idea what I'm doing. So with most areas of my life, I think it's okay.
I know you're a young guy, and I think that idea of I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow or a year from now. I mean, why do you think it is that we're not okay with that? That's not an acceptable answer?
I think it's because we want control, and we just kind of want a lot of things handed to us. The thing I'm most jealous of with all my Nashville peers is like, I know a few bands that are literally booked until, November 2015, like now. And like, Paul, that would be so nice. I would just put my feet up and go.
Having
great.
Some element of certainty in your future.
It sounds great. And I think it's okay to kind of admit that you have no idea what you're doing, because I can't take credit for any of what I'm doing or anything that's happened to me. And like, I'll tell anyone and everyone that like, it hasn't been me. I think it's been God, honestly, that's been, that I've kind of been following, that's kind of, handed things to me. And so, yeah, I it's kind of a taboo thing to admit your weaknesses and to I don't really know what's going to happen. But,
right.
But I think it's fine. And I think more people need to be fine with it and ask for help.
Yeah.
And give help. Hello, anyone out there?
If you've got a spare tire or something.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That's why I did this whole thing was, hey, could I go on your tour with you? Nope. Could I go on your tour with you? Nope. Could I sing on your album? Nope. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And
So now, when did you actually start the process, the decision that, okay, I'm gonna load up the car and I'm gonna hit the road? And you said that was New Year's this year?
The process that I realized I wanted to do that, I think, was I saw a Beatles documentary when I was 4, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. But in the specific sense of it.
So have you been performing since you were a kid?
Oh, yes.
You're still a kid in my I've got kids at your age, so you're still a kid.
Yeah, but man, my whole life, so much so that when I was growing up, my friends in school, all the boys would say, oh, Brian, come over to my house and let's play War. And I would say, oh, you come over to my house and we'll pretend to be the Beach Boys. I call being Brian, obviously. And they just thought that was so weird. But I just know that I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of the regular kid shows, but my parents put on a Beatles documentary when I was an infant, and I was brainwashed. And so
right.
I think my first big boy Christmas, I was like, what do you want for Christmas? Do you want a G.I. Joe? Do you want a car? A toy car, obviously. And I said, I want a guitar. So I think I was 5 when I got my first guitar, and maybe they thought it was a phase, but I never really got over it. So
now, does music run in the family? Are your folks?
Not at all.
No. And do you have siblings or?
Yeah, I have an older sister, and she's awesome. She's She has an idea what she's doing.
Show off.
I know. We're just very different. She, she excelled in school and was very good at math and loves this town and decided to stay here when she graduated and got a job at a school that we went to. And then there's me who graduated and said, how long until I can get out? And, packed up my stuff. I moved to Nashville, didn't know one person, didn't have a place to sleep even while I was looking for a place to sleep. So we're very different. And, I think I'm the first person in my family to really tap into music. So.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So
now, do you think the move to Nashville? I'm kind of curious about that. In this day and age, it seems like you can produce anything. For instance, this podcast, and I'm going to get it posted, within the next couple of days. It's available to the world. Do you really feel that getting into Nashville or New York City or Los Angeles that's a critical part of your success moving forward? Just making those connections and.
Of mine, or just in general for other musicians?
No, for you specifically. Absolutely.
For me, yes.
So you felt getting out of town was kind of a key component moving forward?
Yeah, I kind of looked around this town, and this is not to dog on Colorado Springs at all.
Sure.
I mean, my hometown show is here. I love this place, but I just kind of looked around, and I felt like there wasn't a lot of challenge here. I kind of felt like, and this is it feels arrogant to say, but I kind of feel like I conquered my scene. I played the biggest venue I could, which was here, and then the next step up was the Pikes Peak Center.
Right.
And I noticed that the way the population of this town, there's not a ton of people just chomping at the bit to come see a band that they haven't heard of on Friday night. It takes a lot to yank people out of their houses here.
Much less on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah. For me, it was wanting to be surrounded by musicians. One, meeting people, and it was that first idea of meeting, a savior, someone powerful that could go, hey, you're pretty good. You can be on my tour. And, you'll find that more in Nashville and you'll hear. And
right.
just some more music friends. And lastly, to learn a lot. And that's probably been the biggest bonus from moving to Nashville was just sitting in, down to lunch or dinner with people that have been doing this and do know what they're doing,
right.
And just taking notes and said hey, so if I want to do this, what's my next step? Oh, well, I did this. Oh, so what are you doing about this? And I just learned and learned and learned and learned. And once I kind of gathered enough stuff, I, do the next thing. And so, but for a general musician, I don't no, you don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
I don't know how to do, online promoting and marketing and stuff. So I have to physically move around.
So what was that process like when you got to Nashville, not knowing anybody? How did you integrate yourself into that scene? I mean, did you just start, going out and hitting the clubs, or did you have a kind of a plan of attack to make introductions with folks? And
well, my new album, it's like an EP. It'll be out in February. That is this is kind of the stuff I wrote there. This is kind of the post stuff, and it's pretty much all about how to do that.
Yeah.
Because people, especially my age, children, will usually when they move cities, especially across the country, it's for school or for a job or, for their spouse or something. But,
right.
And friends just kind of happen if you're in college. You're locked in a room with a bunch of people your age and same major and stuff like that.
Right.
And, with a job, friends just kind of happen. But I hadn't really heard of anyone who just moved just to move. And where do you find friends? Where do you find them? And so probably the hardest thing for me was going from this community that I had here after 21 years, was going to a place where I knew no one, having to start over. Where do you find them? So to answer your question, my plan of attack was it's kind of funny. I kind of scouted the most popular coffee shops among folks my age that I just kind of saw coming in. People definitely judging book by its cover by going that is someone I'd be friends with.
Right.
And so finding that coffee shop and then just planting there 9 a.m. and then just waiting and really going out of my comfort zone and doing things that you would never do. Just someone sitting there having a conversation and me being so desperate and so lonely, just going up to them and going, hey, I'm Brian. I have 0 friends, and I haven't eaten in 2 days, and you look like someone I should be friends with. Can we hang?
Right.
And sometimes they'd be whoa. But sometimes they're yeah, sit down. And that's how I met some friends. And the other plan of attack was church. I was oh, that's another place to meet people. And it's a little bit of a secret because I was always embarrassed about it. But on Sundays, I would spend my entire day at church. I would go to like 6 different churches. I would go to a 9 a.m., an 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5, 7, and 9, all different churches.
Yeah.
And I would walk in pretending like, oh, it was my first church of the day. And sometimes they'd have free food, so that helped. And like, but I became a part of a body of all these churches just because I wanted friends so bad. And,
Yeah.
I found ways, but honestly, that just doesn't happen. So like, I'm very thankful that for some reason, God just made it work, and I was not expecting it to be as easy, and I did not expect to have as many friends and phone numbers as I have now after just a year.
Oh, so, that's great.
Yeah.
So musically, how do you think it's changed you or affected you, style-wise, and do you play well with others? I mean, are you a solo, no questions asked? Are you looking to?
I would love to be in a band.
Yeah.
Like I love to.
It's hard to. I would imagine it's hard to give up that autonomy though when you're used to playing and writing by yourself.
Writing is the big thing.
Yeah, and then trying to coordinate with other people.
Playing's not so hard because I know I can sing pretty well and play acoustic, but everything else I'm definitely open to have other people. But writing is like, I just have this weird thing where I'm like, this is my idea, and like it is better than yours,
right?
Because that's my taste. It's not that it's
Absolutely,
technically better,
yeah.
but. And in Nashville, the big thing is co-writing, and I never got into it because I could never like just hand over, like, okay, we can sacrifice my thing. I just couldn't do it because that would ruin the song. I don't know, but yeah, I play well with others. I would love to be in a band because I would love to be a part of something. Just be a part of something,
right?
Not
right.
be the something.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to say, but it's a little bit hard for me to like drive up to a venue and see tonight Brian Wight and just see my stupid name, up there and my stupid face on a poster. It's just like, I mean, I know that guy and he's kind of a loser. Why are we like kind of worshiping him? And I would love to have like, here's 4 guys and we are representing name, and like, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And especially traveling, like, and just having other
just
people.
Just the loneliness of the road.
Man, that would be great. But yeah, and then also living in Nashville, how it affected my playing was like, I think before I moved there, I was like, okay, I've got my skills, good to go. And then I saw like the best musicians in the world. I can't come out tonight. I got to practice. And whoa, that's a real kind of reality check. Like,
yeah.
And I learned that you can always, 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 always get better. Michael Jordan is not the best he could be. And it's like,
right.
Okay, so that just taught me like practice and never stop, never be like, okay, now I just need other stuff to happen for me. No, you can always be better. So
do you think it has elevated your game personally
Absolutely.
in terms of skill and
and I think because
discipline and all those things?
Like I said, living here, it was like I hate saying
big
this.
Fish,
yeah,
small
I
pond.
hate saying this, but I was just like, okay, I think I'm the best in my field here, and I don't need to do anything else. And when I got there, I was like, I need to be able to compete. So I practiced a ton, and now that's carried over to just everything. And
I think that's a natural progression in any any industry that you go in. Once you kind of master your local area, you do want to see who else is out there, who else can I compete with, and not in a negative way, not I'm going to beat you or I'm better than you, but just to kind of elevate your game and to make you a better, a better competitor, on the stage. I think that's an important thing to look at. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons I started this podcast is I'm born and raised here in the Springs. I love this town. I know it's a small town. It still has kind of that Mayberry feel where you always know somebody who knows somebody. But I'm fascinated by people who not only, cultivate their skills here, but also come back through town. And so guys like you, I think, are a perfect example where you're right on the apex of your career, still trying to get a feel for what you're doing. But your Springs roots are showing, you're coming here for one of the last shows of the tour. And to me, that's the part I'm interested in and what drives guys like you, because it's a tough world that you're getting into.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what Nashville is it's kind of like everyone, like every town, the best person in their town, once they've kind of reached that, is like, okay, now you go to boot camp.
Right.
And that's Nashville. So it's like Nashville is like everyone that's the best in their town, and then the game is like who can be the best in that town.
Right.
And that's kind of how you win.
That's a great analogy. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. And so a lot of people stroll up there going, okay, this should be easy, which that wasn't me, but they kind of stroll up and it's like, oh, everyone's really good.
Yeah.
And so, but oh man, this place it's got so much character, and I hope that it like makes a move into being more of a music town.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I hope I can help with that somehow.
Yeah.
So
now,
I'll always come here.
who were your influences musically? Who did you follow, or who did you grow up listening to?
The Beach Boys, Johnny Cash, the Beatles, and those.
I'm not familiar with any of those.
The Beatles are an up-and-coming group out of the UK. And
British guys.
yeah.
Oh, nice,
I don't know if
nice.
they're faking it or not, but
Yeah,
they're.
yeah.
I don't know. They might be.
They're playing off of that One Direction vibe. I got you.
They're more like a one-hit wonder, those Beatles. You know? But those are the obvious ones. But
Yeah.
So I kind of am like a smoothie. My influences, my music comes from like vocally. I pull from like Stevie Wonder and R&B and soul and like crazy, intentional, crazy run vocalists
Right.
who like really work hard on just their voice. And then like my guitar playing, I learned how to play guitar from listening to Blink-182 and Zach Brown Band.
Right. Nice.
So that's where my guitar playing comes from. But then my songwriting came from the Beatles and the Beach Boys and Drake.
Really?
So that's my smoothie.
Wow. Yeah, that is a blend.
And then I learned how to play piano because I heard Coldplay, and so there's just so much in there. And at the end of the day, it kind of ends up being just my favorite music because
Yeah.
it's all of it together. So
Now, the songs that you write and perform, do you feel those evolve?
yeah,
Like from the first time you perform it, and
Absolutely.
then once you get in front of a live audience, that you start tweaking it and making some
Oh, yeah.
changes to it. And
I have one song that I've been playing for 5 years now, and because I wrote it 5 years ago, and I thought it was so cool to myself when 5 years ago, and I don't know if I was just not selling it right, and then I just kind of put it away, and brought it back out again, and like kind of did a little stand-up thing beforehand to set it up, and and now it's like the favorite, and so they definitely evolve, and like I think with this tour, like if you sing the same songs over and over and over and over again, you'll find like, oh, I could do this here, and it's like your new trick, and oh, I could not do that there, oh, and it makes it better, and like so after whatever I said, 30 states, like I think I've got it where I want it.
Yeah.
So,
now,
but,
do you feel you have to adjust your set or your style at all, depending on where you're performing? Or, yeah.
Yeah, big time. Depending on like who I'm opening for or something. Like I opened for 2 Chainz, if you know who that is.
I don't.
He's just like gangster rap. And how did I get on this bill? But okay. And so I rap as well, and I just kind of like I pulled out all of my most rappy songs, and I rapped in places where I don't usually rap, and I made songs that weren't actually hip hop, tried to make them more hip hop, and then I opened for just kind of like some really folky, sad guy, and I'm like funny and kind of poppy, and I had to like chill and just kind of like make sure everyone
To match the tone of the
and I had to
room.
be sad, and like so I'm great with chameleoning like that, and not proud of it, but I can definitely match
Well,
that.
I think if
so.
you're looking for an album title, My Most Rappy Songs, you might want to jot that down. That would be great.
Here's my most rappy songs.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's on tap for you next? I mean, after this, I know you've got a couple private shows booked. You said over the holidays.
Yeah.
Then back to Nashville, working on getting the album ready to go for February.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, on tap next, the reason this lined up this little right now is because like this is right before Thanksgiving.
Right.
And my family's here, so on tap next is like a good few hours on the couch and some football and some Ambien and.
So are your folks going to be here tonight?
I think so.
Nice.
Yeah, I hope so.
Is that weird for you, or is that good?
Yes.
Very weird?
I have this thing where I don't like playing in front of people I know. I'm way more comfortable in playing in front of strangers.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
So,
can totally.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I guess they'll be here. But and then in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, probably gonna be recording a lot. Staying here.
Excellent.
And then you're doing those little Christmas shows, and then Christmas, and then out to Nashville to kind of put the final touches on this little, I think it's like 8 songs, this little EP. So if I can crank out 2 more, it'll be an actual album. But
Excellent.
right now it's sitting pretty there. So yeah, it's a pretty slow next couple months, and then than not much. So
Excellent. Well, Brian, man, it was a pleasure to meet you. I appreciate
Oh,
you
dude,
taking the
thank
time
you.
out. I know you got a show this evening, and
I do. Shoot.
Yeah, you probably ought to prepare for that. Hopefully, you brought a
Great.
guitar or something.
I did, but I should learn how to play it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
take some time to do that. Excellent, man. Well, best of luck to you, and
Thanks,
hope
dude.
to catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, man. I'd
All right,
love
thanks,
to.
man.
I'll see you next time I'm here.
All right,
and
sounds
if you
good.
do stand up.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay, that's fine.
So there you have it, my conversation with Mr. Brian Wight. Solid young man and a real pleasure to hang out with. So I do want to thank him for his time. As always, want to thank you as well for tuning in to In the Springs. If you do enjoy what you're hearing, be sure to rate us on iTunes, like us on Facebook, follow the blog, etc., etc. We'll leave you with another taste from Brian's latest project with the track entitled Blah, Blah, Blah. So until next time, I'm Ryan Lowry, and we'll see you again right here in the Springs.
I thought about the military, then I remembered that commitment scares me. Then I thought about getting married, then I remembered that commitment scares me.